Hey there, everybody. Welcome. It's time to do some live painting again. I'm feeling a little bit giddy. I'm excited for today. Thanks to I Ben is here with us. I'm gonna say hi to Ben real quick. You can
What's
give him a
up,
shout out.
everybody? I see you guys out there in
Smile.
Lubbock and Oregon and Newfoundland and California, New Zealand, Prescott.
We got him from all
Uh,
over. All right. Thank you,
yeah,
everybody,
great
for
to see
being
you guys.
here. Super fun. It always makes my day, my afternoon. It's 3:30 in the afternoon here in Arizona, but I understand that it is quite different times for many of you that are tuning in. So thank you. Big thank you to you. How's the volumes? The volumes sound good out there? Let's maybe try bumping up. My voice isn't at its strongest, so I'll bump. I can kind of hear myself talking a little quiet. And a big thank you to Brian, who's operating the cameras, but he doesn't like to be on camera. He likes to be behind the camera. But he's
Thanks,
over there.
Brian. We appreciate you, buddy.
He's the other guy in the room.
The man in the shadows, Brian.
We had a good comment, good request. The ever popular content of painting waves. It's not just me that likes to paint water. And so we're going to do that today, paint waves. But I realized, it is true that I haven't done a video on painting big waves and really talked through it live and in this format. Although I do have many videos pre-recorded that you can see on my website. But this will be fun to do a live one where you can help me to get those very important comments that I don't think of when I'm recording something on my own. So it's very helpful when you ask questions along the way and remind me of what it's like to be new to this. We can forget when we do something for so long. I can forget what it's like to be starting out for those of you that are starting out.
Yeah, this
And
comes from Anuja Choksi. She asked,
oh,
Joe, I
sweet.
feel terrible about missing your live, but just watched it, loved it. Can you please do a live on making
Yeah,
waves?
sweet. Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you,
So I did
Anuja.
read that. We did read it. Thank you, Anuja. Very good. And so I hope you're watching. You're going to feel double bad if you don't watch this one because I actually read the comment and now we're doing the show. And so I hope that you're there to throw a few questions our way. But I don't blame you. Hey, you are probably somewhere else in the world at a different time. I'm not actually mad. I'm just glad that you asked a good question. So we're going to get started. And I was actually thinking that maybe we could do a couple of paintings. Maybe we could do two paintings today. If they're small, then we can get them done in time and I can still get home for dinner. So I've got a canvas. We're going to do oil
Whoa,
on the
home for
small
dinner.
canvas.
That's greedy, dude. That's greedy.
do some painting. Do some painting and then, hopefully make it home in time. Now, let's start with the water base. I get a lot of questions about paint, so I thought, hey, this will be fun to do side by side and show how the color mixing really is consistent. The theory of color mixing is consistent. And so we'll put this out of the way for a little bit while we do some quick demonstrations with the water base, because water base really is faster. There are things that you just can't do with water base that you can do with oil. But with both, you can achieve great quality if that's what you're after. Great detail level if that's what you're after. You can do that with either one, just different methods. But it's not the details that really, in my opinion, make a painting interesting. It is how well you capture the essence of the subject, and that is often not in the tiny details. So let's talk about waves. I
So
think,
we got an interesting question right off the bat, Joe.
shoot,
Ona
shoot,
says,
let's hear it.
have you ever used oil-based paints?
Boom, right there.
Oil-based house paint instead of the water-based?
Oh, good
And
question, good question. Have I ever
do
done?
your
I have
do
to.
your techniques still work the same?
Yes, I have used oil-based house paint, but not for a mural. I don't think I've ever painted a mural with oil-based house paints, but I have painted with oil-based as just a paint contractor for several years before I got into the mural business. You know, I worked a lot with oils, and you you do end up trying to mix colors, match colors. It's a headache. I am glad, literally, you get a headache from those fumes. Glad I'm not doing that
Good.
anymore.
No good.
Yeah. But the color mixing is the same. To answer the question, I can tell you very assuredly that the color mixing is, for all practical purposes, the same. There are some small differences that you would discover soon enough on your own, like the potency of the dark colors in oil.
Yeah, let's have Brian darken that camera down some so we can see all that nice white paint you're putting all over your white canvas.
Oh yeah, is it a little bit on the bright side?
Yeah, we're just a little bit on the bright side. You know, we don't want to blow anybody's eyeballs out
Overexposed.
today.
Let's see. I'm not sure if we got that one. Do you remember that? I'm not sure if I remember how to adjust that camera.
Just give me a minute.
Yeah. Just shout at me. We're gonna start putting some darker color on this. So tell me if you still can't see it after we do. So let's put some blue. I'm just making a sky. I just want some kind of a sky. So a little bit. I put a bunch of white on. I'm gonna put a lot of water. It's drying fast on me, and I am not. This is not a lesson on gradients. I'm just putting some blue on white and then just going across it to let whatever happens happen. I'm just going to go like this. And we're going to go like this. Can you find that function on there? Do we have that exposure on that camera?
Yeah, I'm looking. I
Okay, we'll get it. Hang on a second. Just give us a second. How's the exposure on the blue, Ben? Should we still go down a touch?
It's not changed, so let's stop it down a little bit or increase the shutter
Okay, no
speed,
problem.
decrease the gain.
Yeah, just give us a second. I'm just gonna fade to black for like 30 seconds. Don't worry about it. We'll be right back, okay? Hey. We're back. Okay, give me a second. Let me get my little earbuds in here so I can hear what's going on out there. So, tell us if the exposure looks better. I'm glad you mentioned that because we want everything to be seen here. How are we looking? Oh, hang on a second. I don't have audio on, Ben. Give us a second. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Now we got it.
Go ahead and get some paint on that thing. Looks better.
For a minute, I didn't have audio there. Okay.
And we'll welcome the latecomers too while we're at it. See you guys chiming in from Georgia, France, Colorado, Boston,
Cool.
UK, Ukraine,
Nice. Welcome, everybody. Thank you.
Tennessee, Wyoming, Venezuela. Man, I can't say it all fast enough. Welcome.
Sweet.
by the way, Ben, he was using white earlier, so I don't know if that was the issue. Now he's using blue.
Now he's just so
That might have been the problem.
just so you know.
Yeah, we couldn't tell what color that was.
Yeah. So I'm just slapping this on here. We're doing blue and watch a little bit of red. I'm going to do this because I like to see a bit more turquoise at the horizon. So we're just going to throw some red up in this sky so that the top is less turquoise. That red, you think of red as like a turquoise killer, opposite of turquoise, or you can just think of it as making it more purple. However you want to think of it, it'll make my sky a little more of a blue, a sky blue near the top of the gradient, a little more of the turquoise blue as it gets toward the horizon, just to get a natural looking sky. My paint's starting to dry here a little bit, so I'm just going to stop blending. I do want to give you a quick tip I'm realizing as I'm painting this. So the motion, something you'll run into when you're doing horizontal strokes, is a natural rainbow shape to your brush strokes. You'll go like this, and you'll have this arced shape will very naturally, quickly, easily happen when you're not thinking about it. So consciously try to make a slight smile to your brush strokes when you're trying to get level lines. That is, if you're painting with your elbow. There's might be a few scenarios where your elbow is not down. I can't think of them at the moment. Maybe on a ceiling. But you end up getting that arc. And so if you think about painting a slight smile shape, it will level out your brush strokes and you'll be happier with, well, if you're trying to get a more horizontal look to your picture. So I'm just going to leave the streaks of white in here and let's turn these into clouds. I think that.
You know, Cindy has a question for you. Can you use heavy body acrylics on walls for murals over eggshell interior paint?
Yes. If it's acrylic, it'll stick to acrylic. If it's acrylic, it'll stick to acrylic. That was kind of a tongue twister for me. Yeah. Like chemicals will stick to like. Well, that's not always true. Not with things that like epoxy or fancy things that cure and get hard. But it is the case with common acrylic paints. So you can put any kind of water-based acrylic paint over any other. Maybe in some rare circumstances, people have experienced some peeling if it's like a real hard finish or something. But I think it's rare enough that you're just unlucky. If that happens, you can blame it on me and say I gave you wrong information. There won't be many of you. Okay, so I'm just putting a few purple clouds. Now the reason I'm making them purple, this is a fun thing to understand, and I'll do this when we get to the oils too, is that when white meets blue, you get this turquoise, right? You get this kind of turquoise color. And that color is great for creating depth, translucency. When you want it to look like light is going through the atmosphere, it's nice when the brighter parts shift toward yellow. So blue gets greener. That's nice when you want the translucent look, but clouds, it's a white object on top of a blue sky. You're not trying to get it to look like the cloud is shining through. You're trying to get it to look like it's a separate object and just the edges come together. So by putting that more purple shade on first, just like I used the red to get rid of the turquoise up there, I used that layer of this very slight, kind of lavender color, just that little bit. And now I put white over the top of it, something that's actually much easier to do with a slower drying paint. But I can use that trick to make these clouds immediately look more cloudy, like natural misty water in the sky instead of like something else. So you'll see a lot of the time in paintings, the clouds have kind of overly turquoise edges. Look for it and you'll know it. You'll see it right away. Look at paintings of clouds and you'll see overly turquoise edges on the clouds. Compared
That's good news that acrylic sticks to acrylic, because Violet
Already did it.
here says, well, time to paint all over my walls.
Okay, sweet.
Which is fun because I can tell you, whoever buys Joe's house some point down the road is going to get a house with some really cool murals all over the wall.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I just go for it. That's
You're like, oh, I have a child. Oh, let me paint a mural on them. Oh, I have a garage. Oh, let me paint a mural on it.
Yeah, you make it sound like I've got lots of time too. That's
well, I mean, it's practice. It's research.
Yeah.
Come on.
My life is filled with unfinished paintings, and so every piece of art I've done for my kids, I get it to where it'll serve the purpose well, and then I say I've got to move on. I've already spent too much time on it. So now you can see me putting blue
Peggy, Pegat says, which blue and red do you use so it doesn't just go brown?
Yeah, blue and red don't make brown. They make a gray violet. If it looks blue and it looks red. So if you're, okay, so to qualify that, I don't know if you can see this can right here, this red oxide, you can see that is not the same red as this. So if I do blue and a red like this, which I would describe as a red orange, it's called red oxide. I don't know what else. It's the color of rust. That's definitely not going to make
there, Joe.
It won't really make a brown,
red.
But it'll make gray. Oh, did you say it's a little bit off?
It's just barely.
Yeah, it's fine. We can see.
Yeah, okay.
Blood
But you see the color. I'm going to don't paint on it if I go too much further. Okay, so I haven't used this one. I'm probably not going to use it for a while, so it's probably a good idea to just throw a lid. There we go. So the red that I use, if it looks bright red and it looks bright blue, it's going to make a gray violet. And then if you mix your blue with a violet that looks like this one, can everybody see that magenta. I call this magenta. So does Sherwin-Williams. They just call this their magenta pigment. But Grumbacher makes a color just like it here. Look at this one. This is, no, that's alizarin crimson. Here's a Grumbacher color. And they call this Theo Violet. I'm going to use that when we get to the oil for the same purposes as magenta. So if you mix blue with that, you get a vivid purple. But if you mix blue with a red, you get a gray purple. Very good for making clouds and sky and white water and all the stuff we're going to be painting now. We don't want the vivid purple for that. Okay, now I think a lot of people have had bad experiences with color mixing, and you know, after you have that happen, you think that colors are unpredictable and you're going to get bad results next time you go to it. Well, you know, a lot of things are just because you didn't know. And I'm telling you, you can rely on blue and red always making an acceptable gray violet. They always do. If it looks red and it looks blue, it's going to do it for you. Okay, so now all I'm doing is just putting some streaks in here. I just wanted some kind of a sky so that I've got a you know, a simple kind of horizon to reflect on my water. So now let's put some water in place. We want to make waves. So if we want a big wave, if we want big waves, let's say we're out in the ocean, we're going to use black and blue. And wherever a wave rises up out of this, you know, I don't even know where we're gonna put this. Let's put a wave floating to the right, because I don't do that as often. I think I maybe have an artistic bias. I like to put things facing to the left, so we're gonna break the pattern. So let's start making the light part of the wave. We'll use just a touch of yellow. I was pretty short on my bright phthalo green. You can get a real vivid green. It's beautiful for water, but I ran out of that in my acrylic paint, so we're just gonna settle for yellow and blue, which makes not as intense of a green, but intense enough for these purposes.
You know, Joe, I gotta stop you here, man. I'm pretty excited. I think I got my first hater on the internet.
What you got? Let's celebrate that.
Yeah, man. Apparently, Mr. Anonymous thinks I'm the worst part about your show.
Mr. Anonymous, come on.
Yeah, it's great, man. I feel like I've
Look how ugly he is.
threshold.
Just look at him. Look how bad he
Like,
looks. He's always
get rid of
here.
that guy, man.
He's
Get back to
always
the-
reading everybody's comments, always
Oh, shut
interrupting
up.
Joe's work. He's always interrupting me,
hanging
Mr.
out in the
Important.
trees. Ugh.
That's good. All right. Well, you know, there is a sport to this, isn't there? Keep your game face on, brother. That's good. So here's what I'm doing. We are putting the green in place where we have light coming through, and I'm already deciding that I have my wave curling this way. So you don't want tons of green. You can overdo this real quick. That's too much right there. What you see there is too much. So we're going to go less by adding blue. We can always add more paint. It's way easier just to add more blobs of paint than to try to take stuff away. We want it to get darker and bluer as it goes to deeper water. So where we have less light shining through it. So I'm watching these curves. I'm really watching the angle of these according to the angle that I want the waves. And so we go like this. We go blue, going down like this. And then it gets brighter and greener. It can get green. I mean, you decide. It's just that I've gone further in what I wanted in the past. You know, I've done this in the past with the green in the wave, and then I looked at it when it was done thinking, oh man, I made like the greenest wave ever. I don't want that much green. It just happens quick. You know, it can get away from you. Okay, so as this blue gets lighter, and now I'm just blending it down into these darker colors. We got black and blue here, and I'm just gonna leave it kind of unmixed. I don't need it entirely mixed. I just need to see that basic pattern, and I want to see uniform shapes as they go up. So, you know, if this is a wave that's starting to curl, I want that highest part to be the most illuminated part, so maybe a little more white as it goes up here.
You know,
and then
Joe,
I'll
you're
do-
gonna love this one. Vea says, "Not me getting distracted by the pretty paintings in the background, but how might you make more vivid greens or other secondary colors when you only have the primaries?"
You can't. You just can't. Okay, there is one way, but I don't recommend it in a painting like this. The way you do it is go over pure white. Look, if I put a green right next to this, see how white this is? Okay, so if I get this same mix of colors, tiny bit of yellow, I'm just grabbing a teensy weensy little bit. Then I'm going to put some blue. I'm going to put a little bit. Yeah, it's not just teensy, it's teensy weensy. And so then we're going to put some water. Now this even has black in it. My brush is not washed out. But as I spread it thin over this light surface, so that's what you do. You get white underneath the color. And so then if you pre-paint your picture just blue to white, then you come back after it's dry and do this. This turquoise will be more brilliant than the turquoise. And look, I'll rinse out my brush real good. Rinse out my brush real good, make it thinner. Like this. So see how this shade of turquoise, as I thin it out, you can see how it illuminates to a nice turquoise. That is going to be more intensely colored than this when it's all dry, because it has the white shining through it and the white is not mixing with it. The white is like a black or a gray. It mixes and kills intensity. But if the white is only beneath the color and not on top, then you preserve the intensity. But that can be a headache of a thing to try to do. So I just don't worry about it. That is a way, though, to answer the question more fairly. That's a way to get brighter colors when all you have is primaries. So let's put more of that color on there. Here, let's put a bit more yellow. We're just gonna lots of white right there. Yeah, lots of paint. I like to. Sometimes I forget. It's better to apply. Get lots of paint on there and then start spreading it out. Wait until you get enough on there before you start going crazy with the spreading.
Speaking of which, Valerian, sorry, I butchered it again. Do you use any extender mediums for keeping paint wet?
I don't.
Or no?
I don't. It is a popular thing to do. But I prefer just to get faster and to work heavier. I work real heavy with the paint in order to keep it wet. I think I just had a few times when adding the extender changed the consistency of the paint and created another variable for its handling that I just didn't love messing with. That doesn't mean it's bad, though. I think many people might try it and prefer it. It just wasn't my cup of tea. So I like to just work fast in order to get that look. And with this kind of a painting where I'm not really trying to dial in details too accurate.
Michelle wants to get your exact colors. What are you painting there with?
Well, this would be the only blue that Sherwin-Williams carries. So I just ask them to put, maybe 3 ounces, maybe 2 ounces of that in a quart. And so it's like phthalo blue. If you compare them side by side, it's very similar to a phthalo blue. This is a phthalo blue. This is oil based, but this is the water based jug that I'm painting out of. And then I use the brightest yellow I can find, brightest red I can find, but they're just pre-made pigments that are at that paint store, and maybe they vary depending on what paint store you go to, so I can't actually give you a name for the color. It's probably like some number code, so you would just have to say. And you can always go to where can you go? What kind of paint do I use? I've got a short video on it. Ben, we did a frequently asked questions.
Yeah. I mean, I've listened to a lot of hours of Jim talk about this, and he pretty much always says the red is red, the blue is blue, the yellow is yellow, the green is green, et cetera, et cetera. Just, eyeball it. If it's bright, that's your color.
That's it.
And Frank Rigatoni, he's got one for you too. He says, Joe is clearly a house painter. Quote, just put it on heavy. Close quote.
That's it. Yeah.
When you need that one coat coverage.
We're here to get the job done. Come on. We got to get home for dinner. Yeah, that's it.
Get home for dinner.
Yeah. Yep. I used to be so disappointed, though, when construction workers would be willing to compromise visual quality. Looks good from my house. It's terrible. The artist in me did not want to embrace that side of the contracting world. You know, you really got to stay on those guys if you want quality. Okay. So here we've got a big wave. We got this wave going over like this. So we put the darker water, probably the most important things, if I had to identify two important things, the perspective of the shapes, that tells you where the wave's going, where it's coming from, what, you know, it tells you the shape. And then that in harmony with the colors. So we've got the deeper, blacker blue fading to the brighter, greener blue as it goes up into the light. So then there are some different pieces to this that we can add. We've got where it starts to hang over. And so there, I want to start putting white water and maybe even a little bit of shadow. If I really want to get down to the tiny details, you know, then maybe here I'm going to remix this color while it's wet. Or I'm going to remix this color so that it's wet. And then I'll add just a touch of like maybe the blue and black. Here, let's do it down here so that we're on the safe side. Let's get a blue, black, and white so that it's not super dark. Get this just kind of gray, and then we're going to go like this. This is where I want it to really look like it's curling over the top. See that color? So this is just a little extra thing you can add if you really want that effect. You know, it looks good without it, and I don't even know if I'll do this when I move to doing like an oil-based version. If we even get to that, man, I don't know.
Hey, well, you know, we got a lot of good questions today. Mavis is asking, because acrylics because they dry to a darker color, when you're trying to match a specific color, do you just add white to lighten it up?
Oh, very good question. Yeah, thank you for thinking of that. Yeah, so you sorry, my bad. That's my I accidentally answered. Sorry, Sammy, can't talk right now. We're doing a live stream. That's great. That's funny. Oh man, I forgot to silence my phone. I was just so rude to poor Sammy, my friend. Sorry.
Yeah, tell him to get on the internet. He can talk to you all he wants.
I'll call him back when it's over. Oh man, I meant to ignore the call. It would have been way more polite to ignore the call. I'm gonna have to patch that up and apologize later. I answered just to reject him. Okay, we got to answer the question about the acrylic paints. Yeah, so you can add white, yes, to work lighter. Now I try, if it's possible, to just think of it as just making sure the color's lighter than what you want it to be. That doesn't always mean adding white. Sometimes it means not adding black, because you don't always want it to be washed out, but you judge with each color that you make. But yes, you do have to make it lighter than what you want it to be in the end. You know, your end result, you want a certain lightness. Now white is the exception. You don't have to worry about that with white. It won't change color, because white is not going to, it doesn't get lighter or darker when it dries. It stays the same. So now I'm going to use the same shadows I did on the clouds. So these are very purple clouds. I didn't mean to make them that purple, but it's kind of fun. So let's put blue and red. And again, we're just going to take blue. We'll put a little bit of red down here, and then we'll add white to it. This is going to be my white water shadow color. And it's the same thing I would use to make shadows on clouds. I just add some red to the blue, and then when I mix that with white, I get this real nice misty color. And it's always amazing to me how much just a color can create texture and depth and things that you would not expect to interpret as just from a color. But it does. It can create atmosphere. It creates depth. It gives you information about what a substance is based on what you've seen before. So I'm putting that color all along any area where I want to have white water shooting up. So see how it creates that shadow, and then I put pure white on top of that. Now the reason it's that color is because that's the color that's reflecting all over the shadows. We got blue everywhere. We got blue on the water, blue in the sky. We got blue all over the place in this painting. So we can use it to color the shadows, knowing that the light is hitting, some light is hitting those shadows, even though it's not the direct sunlight. So now we put the white tumbling over like this. Now we can put some mist. If I just kind of go like, we can kind of put this like there's motion to it, you know, a little bit, but maybe do this when it's not so wet. If it's too wet, then you might get, you know, you might get big old smears. It was kind of dry when I did that. Maybe halfway. Okay, so then it doesn't have to all be like that. So maybe at the top it's not tumbling over yet. And so there's this really fun effect. So let's talk a little bit more about the anatomy of waves. When this top starts to curl over like this, you can see into it. And if the white water is not obscuring the image, then you might see a lot of the darker watercolor again. So I'm going to take my blue and a little bit of my yellow, just a little dab of it. And we're just going to dab it right into the middle of that. I don't want it green. That yellow, man, it's potent. It makes green quick. And blue is a very transparent color, so it takes on that green very easily. So we go less and less because the white water is obscuring the visibility into that wave. What we're doing is we're looking between the top and the bottom of the wave as it curls over. That's what that dark color is. So we can just put dabs of it wherever to create a real lifelike three-dimensional look to that as it's curling over, and maybe even get the corner of the brush and put some skinny little lines. They really pay off when you know what you're painting, and you put them in these strategic places right at the bottom of that, right at the bottom, so that it looks like the light's bouncing off that bottom wall of the water as it tumbles over. So then I'll make go up and down.
You know, Aaron is digging your wave picture so much he's envisioning a surfer on that wave.
Oh man, that would be cool. Okay, we're not doing that. Don't tempt me. It'll take up the whole show if I do that.
Humans can be kind of tricky to paint.
Yeah. Oh man, we got to do it. I got to do more videos on that. I do love painting people, but it takes time. Maybe.
And just a reminder, you guys can all send your stuff into info@muraljoe.com if you'd like Joe to have a look at it on this show.
Okay, so now I'm just putting a little bit of white at the top. Oh, maybe a little dibber dabbers right here. Here, let's destroy the brush here. We got a lot of them. Let's
Beat
just
the
jam
devil out of it.
Yeah, just beat the devil. That's a good. Oh man, I love that guy. Okay. Let's just do some dabs on here because maybe there's just some white water just splattering forward off of this, blocking the view of that turquoise water a little bit. You see, so you kind of get that look of it tumbling over, and you can see inside of it. And then we'll get some more of the white right up on the tippy top too. Let's get some of that. So you can have.
So Debbie has some trouble with foam. Do you have any things that she could do quickly to
Okay, yeah.
Foamy?
Right. Okay. Now, there's a lot of different. So when you say foam, you might mean the foam that's tumbling over here, but I'm thinking the foam that settles on the top of the water. So once you dial in the colors, you know, just remember this is very important. This red, blue, white mix is very helpful for any kind of white water. So let's go in here. Before I add some foam, I'm just going to finish off this wave, take it back in here, put white water, kind of go like this because I didn't like that big turquoise stripe. So this is just tumbling over. Now watch. Let's put some blue and red right at the base. So I'm just using this as a mixer. You know, this is just my palette. I'm going to go like this. Go put shadow right there. And this is the trick to making it look like water. So the foam needs this as well. You know, it needs that believable shadow. So then once you have that, now let's do reflection on the water. Watch this. Let's grab same color, maybe just a little more blue because it's deep blue water. And we're just going to do a little wave shape. So it's a shape like this. We'll do it big first. If you can see what I'm doing right here, we go. Not very much pressure makes a point on the right side. More pressure makes it fat in the middle. Less pressure makes it taper like that. Do you see that shape here? Let's do it on the, now I'm realizing it's a dark color. Okay. No pressure, more pressure, less pressure. That shape, that's what we want to make the little ripples. So we'll go through here and we just go, like this, and you can see that I didn't even come close to achieving it like I did where it was big. That's funny. I go through all the trouble to show you, then I don't do it. So all I'm doing is making those horizontal shapes. That is what I'm trying to do, is create that shape. So this circular motion is the attempt to get that shape.
So Chris Myers is experiencing that changing of the color. That changing of the color as well. How would you address that? How would you combat that? He says.
The changing of the color. Tell me what the changing of the color is.
Yeah, Chris, why don't you throw up a chat? We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
I guess we're talking about the color changing.
We know Chris Myers lived in Ohio.
I know there's a lot of Chris Myers.
I know, but is it what? I'm just saying, if that's the same Chris, hey, if it's not, thanks for being here, Chris. You remind me of someone I know. Okay, so the idea here is I'm just creating these little shapes real quick to create reflection. It didn't go like I planned. I really am disappointed in my performance trying to get this shape. But you can watch my other videos on waves and be encouraged that it doesn't always just fall right together.
I mean, I didn't want to tell you this room was pretty disappointed in your shape as well, but since you said it first,
but look, consistency.
the chat is full of disappointment. Let me tell you, just
Okay, good.
a steady stream.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed in your comment guy. He's so annoying.
I'm sorry, man. What a. Okay.
Hey, man, the world wouldn't be complete without a few jagged edges.
That's it, man. That's it. I always appreciate when someone takes the time to tell me something that's not nice, because I hear a lot of compliments. I need to remember there are people that don't like me. Okay.
You suck to some people.
It's good. It's healthy to hear. Okay, so I'm being careful when you do reflection. Remember, you have your reflection areas. You don't just put it anywhere. You determine the reflection areas with the first stroke you put down. And so then when you add colors to reflection, just remember that you're adding colors to what you've decided are reflection areas, and your water will look a lot better if you maintain that. So if I want to put sunset color, whatever reflection I want to see in there, I got to remember that. Okay, now foam. I'll put a little bit of foam in here. Let's not take too long on it, but let's put some foam, and let me show you some shapes that are believable. A lot of the time,
Round Brush Steve also has a request for like some lines of trough trailing off a wave.
Okay. Is trough a word? Is trough, or was that like a
I mean, that was as written, so
is that
chew on
really?
it and do with it what you will.
Yeah, okay. All right, lines of trough. I don't know that one. Now, I'm not a vocabulary guy, so don't think I'm criticizing. I'm just asking. So let's do that. So kind of like something was on it, like maybe a surfer hit it. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Trailing off wave. Yeah, okay. So we can put it
just
going
make
up
it up. What's it sound like? What does trough sound like? Paint a trough.
Come on, you can do it.
I mean, you can paint anything, right? Paint a trough.
Yeah, that's good. Just do that. Okay, I'm just getting enough deep water here that I have something that you can actually see the foam on. So another trick is, this spear shape that I did, you can do it in between the reflection shapes too. If you want to go back and add additional little spots of deep water, it's kind of like a puzzle the way they go together. They're the negative space between the waves, very similar to the little wave shapes themselves. So you can go back and forth doing these little spear shapes, brush strokes. So
this is Chris Myers from Ohio saying, when adding white to create a highlight, sometimes the hue will change. Like when adding white.
Oh yeah,
red,
exactly. Okay. Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
Pink isn't always the color you want.
Yes, exactly. So, for example, adding white to blue turns more turquoise than I need it to be to look like natural cloud overlap in the sky. So I added the red. First, I used a light pink. Now I went too heavy. You could see my very purplish clouds. Well, maybe that's a matter of opinion, but you do adjust. So sometimes you don't get the color you want. So just understanding how to get there is all I do. So for example, when a red is turning to pink, you're losing some of the yellow, some of the orange in it. So typically when I lighten a red, I'm very often adding yellow. That's very, very frequent problem. Or orange. If you have orange paint, I just don't have any on the table. Okay, I'm slowing down. I'm going a bit too slow while I'm talking about different things. We got to get some paint on here so we can paint some foam. Okay, so we're going to do this, get some nice dark blue color. And so then what we want to do is create the shapes of foam. We've got all this messy blue and black color. We're going to go white, go red, we're going to go blue. Now, something you want to think about, this is strategic. It's not trying to do it exactly like reality or trying to think exactly what would happen. But just understand, a lot of the time in photos, you don't see the foam very well in comparison to the reflection. It can be hard. Sometimes you just see busy, reflective water and you can't tell what's what. So it can be to your advantage to make them slightly different. So choosing which one will be lighter and which one will be darker can be helpful. So I'm going to make my foam just a little bit lighter than my reflection. And so when I get down in here, I'll do darker bits of reflection maybe. And here, let's do the reflection first. I was going to do foam, but let's do some reflection first. Let's add some blue, get some black. We're just adding the deep water color to this. So we got the blue and black here. Let's get a little more of this. So this reflection is not a real light color. We're going to make sure that it's dark enough that you'll really see. Okay, so now I'm making some more wave shapes. And I can loosen up because these are bigger shapes now, you know, so this is going to be easier. We're going to go like this and start to just curl those up. So waves are on top of waves. So remember, when you're painting a wave, it doesn't have to be a big wave floating through otherwise perfectly calm water. I mean, sure, that can happen, but water all the time has waves on top of waves. So what we do is we change the directions of these strokes to start riding up onto this large wave. So we're making the smaller waves go up onto the bigger wave. So I'm just grabbing this color, maybe a little bit lighter, and we'll go.
You know, this might be a little bit more in one of your other videos that's available on YouTube, but there is some request for the webbing that occurs on water, which I believe they mean
The
sort
foam.
of grid-like pattern.
Oh, we're not talking about the way the foam splits apart.
Or maybe that's what they mean.
Yeah, okay, well, let's see if we can get more specific. Leave a comment, watch out for it. But we can cover both of them. Well, so if we're talking about the foam, I'm going to get to that. If we're talking about the way waves cross over, you know, you can do a study on the nature of waves that has nothing to do with me, and see that, you know, waves are long stretched out things that cross each other. And when we might call this a wave, but really what it is it's just a high spot that's caused by a wave, by two waves crossing specifically, two or more waves crossing. So as I get to the foreground, look how I space them out. There's less, they get real dense. The reflection gets more dense because the angle changes. So that's a trick you can do to get more perspective on your water. Okay, so then...
Yeah, Frank recognizes how quickly that comes together, the perspective that all adds. It just
there
very
you go,
quickly
very good observation. That's it.
makes it pop.
Yeah, I don't even have to do a good job. You know, I can just make sure that I put the density that one would expect to see. And then imagination kind of fills in the blanks where my technique is bad. Okay,
And
so...
Michelle says you're way better than CNN.
Oh man, I'd love to be on TV. I actually, just FYI, I did send an email to PBS. I know that's not CNN, but you know, I sent an email and I said, hey, I think I could bring good viewership, just like Bob Ross, to your programming. I didn't get an answer back. But
What?
You know, can you believe that? It was like they didn't even know who I am.
Man.
Okay. So now we're back to foam. I want to do a good job of showing you this. I had to set it up. So we're going to go blue, red, white. Get lots of white in there. Let's see if we can make a batch of it that'll last. A little more blue. I don't want it to be so purple. And this is just assuming that we've got a very blue environment. No sunset up there, nothing too extreme. And then I'm going to make it lighter. Okay, so this is lighter than the reflection. So when you're making foam, it helps to understand that it rises up like this. The bubbles rise up and push it apart. And then the water also is flowing. So as the water's moving, then it's going to bend and curve strands. So let's make a strand that's skinny, fatter, and skinny, just like the waves, but it's going to kind of bend real far. We're going to have to make it kind of fat. Okay, so it's going to go this way. It's zigzag wherever you want, kind of up and over a wave, but then it's skinny again. You see, so that's really important because it got pulled off of another piece. Okay, so now let's do the same thing again. Let's take another one and go maybe in here, go, and I'm just assuming that the water's flowing a little bit to the right. We got waves tumbling, or maybe it was flowing at the time that the foam pattern was made, for those that like to be more sciencey about the motion. Okay, now we're just going to make some big shapes, and then I'll show you how you can take these and put small shapes coming off of them. So now, wherever we have a point, see this little point on here? Let's put another point going toward that, and then that creates the look of it getting pulled apart again. And so then I can make another point coming off that. So think of shapes that have points pointing to each other, right? That's kind of redundant to say that. But we're going to zigzag these shapes. They get skinnier and skinnier, okay? But all the points, every time you go to a point, you point it toward another point, right? And so by doing that, you create the look of something that's being pulled apart like bubble gum. And then once you do that pattern, you don't have to do it so exactly. You can start breaking the rules a little bit, make it look random, try to make it feel more natural. But as I start putting these shapes together, it's going to create kind of oval shapes in the negative space. So let's go like this. Let's put some here. And look, we're just going to put little dot, 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 like that, got pulled apart. And then some in here, look, we'll just put little, make that more visible. Maybe make that zigzag again right here. Make this point go out, go to here. And look at the kind of oval shapes that are left. Oval shape there, oval shape there, oval shape there. Here, see how it leaves patches in the negative space? Those patches in the negative space are what really cause the believable texture of foam. So look at this. Here's a point. Stretch it back. Make it connect to another. It's getting pulled that way. Connect it to another. Maybe it got pulled way over that way. And so the more I do this, the more I will start to create things that I either like or don't like. And that's a big part of the process, is having a basic principle that leads you to a higher success rate. But then as you do certain shapes, some of them you're going to say, oh yeah, that one really looks the part. That's what I want to see in my painting. Others you'll say,
hey, so we got a resounding conclusion here in the room that this is what they came to see right here. This is what they want to know about. So
sweet. Okay.
Let's be sure and see what kind of colors, reflections, all that happen on the face of that wave and up underneath the foam and all that too.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. I'm just giving myself a little bit more space on my earbuds here so I can move out and make sure I'm not blocking the camera.
And then another a quick question that came in from Jacob is there a difference between reflection color and highlight color?
Oh, that's totally, you know what, when you're talking about the art world, you're talking about very subjective definitions. And,
yeah, so specifically he's saying he thought that highlights tend toward yellow on the spectrum and reflection tends toward violet.
Okay, don't let me burst anyone's bubble. You are allowed to disagree with me, but I don't find that helpful. It doesn't have any practical place in what I've found to work. But if you like to separate them and give them different names and it helps you, then go for it. But for me, a highlight is just a lighter color to make something stand out. And that, so then a highlight, what was the other word you used? Is a highlight and what the same thing?
Yeah, a highlight and a reflection.
And a reflection. So someone might do reflections and call them a highlight. Another person might not. So a highlight, I think, is is a very subjective word. It has to do with like motivation. You know what I mean? Let's highlight this. But reflection is very specific in its definition, that it is the light bouncing off of an object from another. So, yeah, so I guess in that sense, there's maybe I answered wrong the first time. I don't know. I guess they are different things. Highlight and reflection, two different things. In my mind, that's the difference.
Yeah, so
Went full circle
he's just asking if there's a difference. So, Jacob, you're in luck.
Yeah.
Joe says yes.
Yes, I say yes. Well, I was thinking out loud. You got to see that's the real process right there. Okay, so here I did this big thing, and then there's this little point here. So see, I just want to point out that I made this point just so that I'd have 2 points pointing toward each other, just to have that pattern. Because that pattern, and maybe I can make little dots in between, like it got pulled apart a little bit, you know. So this to me is the most key component, although there are still times when I'm like, this foam is not coming together, I'm going to go home and try again tomorrow. There are times. So now I'm being more loose with the technique, just doing zigzags, and I'm trying to have the gentlest touch with my brush so that when I go sideways, it's very skinny, and then when I go down, it's more fat. That's to get this same kind of perspective where everything's kind of getting squished this way. And so, you know, it might not look as lifelike, or I'm being messier. You know, eyes are so they detect texture and patterns so well. So if I create that pattern in the tiniest little brush strokes, it will make a visual difference. Texture always makes a visual difference. So when you take time to make the points point to points, make the points point to points, that really goes far when you're trying to make that foam on the water. So now, something else that I think is a real good key component is non-uniformity. Okay, so let's just take one area and go like this, like that. Okay, so the reason we're going to do that is because we want one patch of it that is just really dense. Now what I'm going to do is take away any shapes that are not like squished. I'm just adjusting my perspective a little bit like this to make it all kind of left right stroke. So if there's anything that looks too much like a straight down non-curvy, non-squish shape, you know, I'll just put a little zigzag through it. Okay, and then I can just put a little bit of my deep watercolor. See, we can flip it around and start painting the negative space. Let's take some of this. This is my deep watercolor. And let's just,
you know, not Sarim says that this is very good. The thing they have found is they don't allow for the deeper shadows of the waves before they want to add more details.
Okay, very good. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Okay. So now I'm just creating some little patches of water showing through. So where I did, sorry, Ben, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Hey, you interrupted Pegat. You didn't interrupt me. Pegat,
even worse.
I can't keep my hand as still as Joe. Should I drink more wine or less?
I think you can probably keep your hand more still than Joe. This is as still as I can.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I'm pulling your chain here or not.
Actually, if I stay in motion, it's much, look how fluid my circle motion is. But then when I try to stay still, it bounces. You know, something I actually started visiting a chiropractor, and I directly connected muscle tension in my shoulder blades and my back to worse shakes. Whenever I get a good massage, it takes it out. It's pretty cool. But I can't really do like a deep tissue massage every single day, but it's fun to know that there's that relationship. So non-uniformity, you know, just some inconsistency in the density. It's nice to see one patch that's more dense than the rest. So just for believability, for composition, you know, just so that it doesn't look like, overly manufactured. This is a way to get a better, more organic look. Now I'm going to get back to my foam color. Let's grab some of that blue, get some water, and then we're just going to scribble some down here. Do a few more patches of it in here. Like this. We can do some short patches. It's not always in long strands. Sometimes there's just little dibs. That's a word. Little dibs of it. Sometimes
that's one word.
Yeah. Well, you know, you can connect it with dab for a dibber dab. Little dibber
dibs.
Dab.
Yeah.
There's little dibs. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's
I get
what's
those on.
fun.
I get those on my beard a lot when I'm eating a sandwich.
Yeah. Now this is
Dibs.
fun. This color might be darker than what's up here. Yeah, just a little. Let's even darken it. Just to enhance the effect. Let's get some of this darker color and put some foam up on top of the wave like this. You know, so that it's like the light is shining through it. Isn't that fun? Here, let's go a little bit lighter. That was kind of extreme. Here's a trick with water-based paint. If it matches the darkness when it's wet, it's going to be darker when it dries. So I went a little bit too, you know, kind of extreme on that. So let's go a little lighter. There. Now the darkness is more of a match when it's on this brightest part. Like this. So I can do the same kind of foam pattern stretching up onto my wave. And then when that dries, you know, it's like the light is shining through and we get that really neat effect of a big translucent wave catching the light. So let's go like this. I want to get them all more similar in color. I changed my color a couple times. So now we've got it curling up. Now you'll see as a few minutes pass, you'll see this color get darker and the effect will be better. We're just going to make this stretch up like this. Now the wave really stretches the shapes. You know, we're talking about moving, stretching water. So when we get here, we don't want to do like, we probably don't want to put a big stripe going this direction because it would get very obscured. You know, a big zigzag stripe that goes down and then up, then down and then up. Now that might be more interesting, you know, because it gets stretched like bubble gum. Okay, that's the foam. We've got the curl, we've got the foam, you know, but there's some other anatomy that we do. But I think at this point it might be good. What time is it? I talked about switching to oils. 4:27. Oh yeah, we got half hour. We can do an oil painting. We can do that. So let's just put a horizon on this real quick. This is one kind of wave. And let's go like this. Let's put a lighter color on that horizon. I think usually the horizon on deep water looks less turquoise. A little more on the purple side, maybe because it's deeper and it doesn't have that illuminated color. But for whatever reason, I think it usually looks good to have a shade of blue, and I'm just doing red and blue. I haven't used the magenta at all in this picture because I didn't need the intensity. Let's use white, like this. I'm just trying to put a lighter horizon to get some depth on my picture. Like this. Okay. Then we'll go like this. We'll go like this. All right. Then maybe we could put a few waves, you know, a few waves off in the distance. That might be fun too. Like, so waves from the side, just to understand waves more. You might have a wave right in here, just a distant wave, and it's just tumbling this way, like that. You know, they don't have a steep backside like they do on the front. So the front really curls over. That's where you have all that curl, but it's not like that on the backside. So you might have just these little shapes like this when you have waves in the distance. You know, if you're seeing one kind of from the side, I might put a little weensy bit of the blue and the yellow in here. Let's go like this, put some white. I'm going to get this color and just go ba-chunk right there. Just so that it looks like, so, yeah, you know, just so it looks like.
Next to the dip.
Yeah, see the translucency? It's just like you can see into the wave a little bit, maybe just at some high spot. You know, you see a little bit of the water through the white water. You know, but then the white water's on the front of it. It has this kind of hooked shape like that. So you can put other waves, you know, make a more fun background with just the simplest little shapes like that, because you're just looking at them sideways maybe, you know, if that wave is just going straight away from me like that. Okay. I think this one
Hey,
is decent.
take a little intermission here and check out this this one we got from Hazel. That she
Let's
sent
see
in.
it. Let's see it. All right. Good idea. Good idea. Let's take a look. Okay. Nice. Okay. We've got a beautiful looking shark. Man, I love the curled fins. What a good idea. Looks like he just pick you up.
Hey, man, Hazel's got this shark trying to give us all a hug. Little shark.
Nice. I like that. That's so fun to add a little bit of whimsical fun to an otherwise very nicely executed realistic color scheme. Love
Yeah,
that.
coming in from New Zealand with this one.
Sweet. Good job doing the truer gray on the nose and the bluer gray in the distance. Nice depth on that because of that. Very cool. Wow, nice. All right, now I'm going to set up to do a little bit of oil. And so I want you to see, you know, the main goal here is to see that we can use the same principles with color mix.
Let's I mean, I know I'm fun to look at. There you go.
Oh, well, yeah.
Me.
We're just going to admire Ben for a little bit. All right, let's go right here. Make sure this thing's not going to move on me. Just go. Yeah, that'll stay in place. By the way, if you paint the back of a canvas, I painted the back of this before we started here today because it makes it nice and tight. If you get these cheap canvases and they're kind of loose, and this is a cheap
Tight canvas.
Yeah. All right,
Hey,
Brian.
here's another one for our intermission moment here. We got one from Mary C.
Okay, let's see it.
Mary C coming in with the autumn.
Whoa, nice. Nice. Oh man, that looks beautiful. Good job.
Yes.
And so, you know, this is a good trick for painters to use when you don't actually ever paint a single leaf. But a single brushstroke can become a leaf if the colors are well chosen, which they are. You know, you've got a great representation of not only the colors, but of them reflecting on the ground. It looks like a fresh rain, you know. Nice.
She says, yeah, rain, exactly. This is her first attempt at painting a rainy day.
Very
She says,
good.
you are my muse and give me the kick in the bum.
Yeah.
Act on my inspirations.
Yeah, I just want to point out that the little bit of over the dark tree trunks on the left, see those gray outlines on those? Good move. That the more visible you make those kind of edges, the more reflective they become, which is a feature of a wet environment. So that really goes with it. You know, using the reflection on the edges of the trunks really goes. And then the high contrast, the dark next to the light, totally a reflective environment because of that. Nice. Very well executed, Mary. Thank you for sharing that.
Hey, what are you going to do with this video after you finish up with the live stream?
Well, today, you know, this is the last week that they're all just going to stay on YouTube. So each video, we'll leave it up for maybe a week or so. We'll leave it up for some time to give everyone a chance to see it who subscribes on YouTube. But
Let's
then
cut
we'll
away
go.
from my beautiful face again. I just love all the screen time I'm getting, you guys.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know if I got
Oh, no, we got it.
contribute.
No, you're not on it. We got it. It's just a delay. Just a delay on the camera.
Okay,
We're on the
all
camera.
right.
Yeah, Ben's like, please don't just keep me on the camera. There's already people hating
I
on
just
me.
need to learn some dance moves.
Yeah.
before I get that kind of
Yeah,
premium placement.
yeah. Now we're gonna start in on this oil painting. Okay, so what I'll do is get the lids on these water-based, get them out of the way. Maybe I won't come back to these. So let's put the wrong colors on the wrong cans as always. This is how it goes in my life. I just put any old lid on any old can. None of them actually stay on. You can't tip them sideways or put them in a car. It's not safe.
Hey, they don't make them like they used to. Hey, here's a follow-up from Jacob real quick about the highlights versus reflections. And
Okay. What is it? Yeah.
So a little
Let's hear it.
clarification. He's looking to know if he's making an object lighter, does it go toward yellow instead of violet, even when reflecting blue sky?
I want to answer that right. So yellow
All right, he's
instead of
making an
violet.
object. He's making an object lighter.
Okay, making an object
he
lighter.
wants-
Okay.
Wants
Okay.
to know if it goes toward yellow
Oh yeah.
instead
Man.
of violet,
Sounds like you've been watching.
even
some-
when reflecting blue sky.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Okay. If it's reflection, move it toward violet. You what you do is you mix the color. If it's reflection, and you're just bouncing light off of the surface, then you want to put the color you're reflecting mixed with the color it's reflecting off of plus white to lighten it, because they get darker when they mix usually. And then you want to add a little extra violet, or move it toward violet. Just add a little bit of purple if it's something in like the green, blue, violet range. Then do that. You might not do that if it's like red light on a green, maybe then that's not. But usually with skies, yes, you move it toward violet. So when you want light shining through something, it's something I talk about a lot. When you want light shining through something, that's when you move the color toward yellow. So wherever it is on the rainbow, if it's a red, it gets more orange. So decide if it's reflecting off of or shining through, and that's the difference. And you can look up videos that I've got on the rule of shifting hues. Something I like to talk about a lot. Okay, so I'm just trying to get, so the reason I'm using a knife is because it's fast. That is the one reason that I'm using a putty knife to do this sky right now, just because it's fast. So I want blue and white mixed together. So oil, you can use a brush, and you can use mediums, you can use linseed oil, you can even use vegetable oil. It'll mix, it'll even clean your brushes. You're working with artist oil.
Do these oil paints already have the oil added to the pigment?
Yeah. There's it's some kind of an oil base. That's why they're oil-based paints, because it's an oil base with pigment added into it for color. And so you can add oil to thin it out, and then of course your pigments are less concentrated when you do that. And I prefer just to use a more aggressive tool and keep the paint in its more heavy original form. Okay, so we've got some blue. I'm going to go a little darker. Now oils, here's something valuable to remember with oils. Light seems to be able to shine deeper into the oil particles for whatever reason. I'm not going to pretend to know things I don't know. But it seems to go deeper in and get a lot more saturated color coming out. So you can do these really dark colors like this phthalo blue that I put on there. And when you shine a bright light on it, you get a very beautiful, vivid blue. And so for that reason, don't be afraid to work dark. Use dark colors when you're doing oil, because that's what it's made to do. It's made to look beautiful under lighting. You put it, I shouldn't say it's made to do it, what I should say is that's an advantage to oils, is that you can make these dark paintings with bold colors and then put them under real bright light to make those colors just pop really beautifully. Okay, so now I got a blue sky. So now I want to put some clouds in it. And what I'm going to do, I think it'd be cool if I just put some white. I'm going to make a pink first, just like I did with the other picture. We're going to do white and a little bit of I just grabbed a red looking color, just something on the red side. Let's just put a little teensy weensy dab. Okay, there we go. That was probably a lot more than I need. When it comes to coloring white, the dark colors, they dominate. Man, do they dominate the mix with oils. I'm going to wipe the blue off of my putty knife that I'm using right here. And so trowel techniques are real fun with oils. Make your own. Don't I'm by a long shot not an expert like Bob Ross. He could just take a putty knife and make a mountain. I'm not trying to pretend I can do that. But what I want to show you is that a pink is a real good start to some clouds. So we'll go like this. That's just a skip trowel technique, by the way. You can do some cool like stratus clouds by just skipping it across there. So now I'm going to put some more white. And what that pink does, remember I was talking about the turquoise edges? You don't want the turquoise edges on clouds if you don't have to, because they look like underwater clouds when that happens. It creates a translucent look instead of a reflective look. You want this pink or a little purple. Purple will do it too. And what that does, see, I get the paint on there like that. And what that does, it doesn't let it turn turquoise when it mixes with the blue. So now I'm going to go heavier. My technique is going to be heavier and squishier so that I can get like a bigger cloud in the foreground. Do that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just come in with the brush and let's get this excess off because we actually want water here, not blood. Let's get that off of there. And we'll go like this. We'll get a brush and let's grab a new one. I don't like to wash out my brushes either. When I'm using oil, I just have a few brushes handy for the colors I'm working in. And then I just wash them out with Dawn dish soap. They don't sponsor this. I said a brand just now, but they don't sponsor. I don't do that.
Hey, you prefer latex or oil? Michelle's curious.
Oh, I definitely prefer the water base because it's so fast, you know. But it's also just because that's where life has taken me. You know, it's just I became a mural painter with water-based paints, and so I got used to those. But oils, you know, this I probably would not do a technique like this with water base. It's fun to be able to just like smush the paint around and get a look like this. So all I'm doing now is putting my brightest white color now on top of these. So let's just get some pure white, and wherever I see a good amount of that more pink color, where I want to have, you know, we were talking about highlights, where I want to see the brighter white, I might have too much on there. I might have to just go like one big squish of white and just leave it. Let's try that.
You know, we got Paul Peck drywall tube over here catching you for your skip trowel. Maybe.
Nice. yeah, that's skip troweling. You do it with a real big wide blade. You know, that's how they get that nice Santa Fe texture on houses.
That's
okay,
right,
there we
man.
go. Pure white.
Contractors see each other.
So I just want to point out how the pure. Yeah, thank you very much for that shout out. I do try to maintain the skills. They do pay the bills, you know, when you need them.
I've heard that's what skills do.
Skills to pay the bills. Yeah, I did my share of drywall jobs. Drywall texture, that is. Okay.
You got to do time, man. You got to do your time.
So I just want you to see that I used pure white on top of my pink white in order to avoid getting the turquoise white. You know, and when I used, in this particular technique, just the process of having the raised spots be the skip trowel texture, the trowel hit the raised spots and added the pure white on top of them. So it's a good way to avoid getting like I said, to avoid getting the turquoise look. Okay, so now let's take, you know, maybe some of it, maybe not such straight lines. Let's obscure some of it so that it's just maybe not.
Are you using any medium on that oil paint?
No, just right out of the tube. And these tubes are like 100 years old, man. Some of these, Ben, are from Granny B.
What?
Our great grandma Hazel Bruner. She was a great oil artist. You know.
Wow, that means that some of this paint is 30 years old.
Dude, it's old. I'm telling you. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little more because I want to see some in the middle. I like this. I like this technique. I'm having fun with it. There we go. I just wanted to break up the straight line across the middle. That's all I wanted. Oh well, about the red spot. Okay. So now we're gonna do some water. So we want waves in here. Well, let's just leave that on there. We're going to need some white. And we want nice dark color. So let's put some blue. Okay, let's put that in there. Let's get more. Let's make it nice and dark. And maybe some black too. I'm going to get some. Do I have black? I know I had some around here. Brian, can I bother you to go grab that tube of black that is just...
Brian, you want to run down to the paint store real quick and...
Right here behind. Yeah, look. Okay, look. There's like 100 tubes of paint laying out. I'm like, just grab the black. Yeah, right side. Yeah, that's it. The big, no, 2 tubes over.
What a guy.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. You got me.
I mean, we all need a friend like Brian in our lives.
Okay. Here we go. Thanks a lot, Brian. Thanks for letting me make a spectacle. Okay. Now I'm going to put some black on here. Now, don't be afraid of the darkness with oils. That was not meant to be a metaphor. Really, just don't be afraid of dark colors with oil. It's a good thing because you can shine a bright light on them. Shine a bright light and they're just beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to, if I can get a nice deep watercolor, and I can add some, I might add some white to this just to make it go far, but the dark colors really do just dominate the mix so well. So I'm just, it's maybe kind of upward like this. I've got blue and black on here with some white. And we're going to start right out these dark colors. Then we'll go up here and maybe start putting some of these colors. Let's get a nice straight horizon. This is going to be a fun thing with the using the trowel technique. I can get a horizon. See, watch this. Let's grab just a little bit of like a pink. I need some kind of a red. Let's grab, where'd that pink go that I was using? Right here. Let's get this. And we'll put just a touch. I don't know exactly what color that is. Just some kind of it. Alizarin crimson. I feel like such a pro saying a name like that. Let's get some of the alizarin crimson and just put it right up here by the horizon.
Dude, you just got so pro right now.
Let's put some white on there.
I'm about to believe anything you tell me, as long as you preface it with, just get some alizarin crimson.
Use the alizarin crimson to make a
Take
little
a
bit
deep
more.
breath in and hold and apply the alizarin crimson.
That's it. Now, I'm sorry to say it didn't do what I wanted it to do. It didn't get as purple as I wanted it to get. So we're going to go for the Theo Violet. So much for the alizarin crimson and the pro voice. Okay, I'm trying to get a good amount of purple for my horizon. Yeah, let's get some of this dark blue down there. Get rid of that. Right here. Okay, now we're taking this. We're going to get some white. Almost done with this sucker. There we go. Some of that white. Okay, now put the horizon up here. This is a very fun way to paint.
Yeah, you know, Paige recognized that your tone of voice gets a little more.
I was trying to sound like Bob Ross.
Calm as you use oil paints. Maybe that's what Bob was on. It was the oil paints, you know.
Yeah, that's
Made him all
it.
chilled out.
Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah,
If you painted with acrylics, he'd be like, "All right, everybody."
acrylics. You got to move fast. They dry. Just do it like this. Wham, bam.
I'm gonna flash the colors across the bottom of the screen real quick. Go
Yeah.
get them. Hey.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's how a lot of people feel when I start moving a bit too quick with the acrylics. Okay, so here, I'm just trying to get a level horizon, and so it's nice having a blade to do that. Look how convenient of a tool that is. Just do this. I should go a little higher because then it would overlap those bad spots I've got, but I can just fix those later. And a wave will probably just cover them up. Okay, so now I'm just going to try to use my understanding of the anatomy of waves to turn this into a wave scene. So this isn't going to be detail intensive. I'm just going to make a few bright spots popping out of this water. So let's get the green. Okay, let's put a wave right here. Whoops, it's dripping. 100-year-old paint. It's all separated inside the tube.
Yeah, around about year 93, loses its consistency.
Yeah. Okay,
It's a little drippy.
green right there. I think it'll be nice to see one maybe right here. Right here. Maybe we'll have how many waves? Oh, let's start with that. Let's see what that does. Okay. And so then I'll take pure white. So remember, it has to get lighter. I'm running out of white paint. We only have so much to put. This paint's going to weigh 10 pounds. This painting is going to weigh 10 pounds when it's finished. Okay. So what we'll do is grab the titanium white. Titanium white. I like to say that one too. Okay. Put it on the green like this. Okay, the green is a lot thinner than the white, so that created a problem. We're going to have to do a little mixy mix. Let's go like this. Let's get this nice light green color. Then go like this. There, now we're starting to get a wave. See that lighter turquoise color? Oh, my hand snagged that little bolt sticking out of my easel. Okay, let's grab this one, do the same thing. Let's grab it off the canvas. Make a wave right here. Let's get one right here. Like this. Let's get one right here. Okay, it's going to start coming together with just these colors. Look at that. It starts to look like waves just because of that turquoise color and how it just creates that illuminated effect. Now this is going to be a big one. This is going to be my big curling wave. Like this. And then these in here, these are going to be the little ones that are like, you know, out here in the foreground, but the water is rough. You know, we're doing rough water on this one, like this. And then we're going to put the highlights, as we were talking about, after we get these in place. So I'm going to make this curling up, just kind of bending it up this way. And I'm just really thinking about the direction of that curl, like this. Then I'll come in with a brush and do little adjustments to it. Like this, nice and dark on my deep water, and nice and light on my highlights. So let's get a brush, and let's start having some fun now with this darker color. Let's go like this. Get the brush flattened out. I'm going to put it through the paint a few times to kind of sharpen it. So we'll get that phthalo blue. And this brush will get sharp like a knife. And hopefully when it gets like that, I can start making these little wave shapes. So sometimes it can be a real cool effect when you do the reflection spots first with the darker color. And then you come back with the lighter reflection color on top of them. So we're putting this going up like this. We're going to take this dark color, go over this wave like this. Blend these in, get nice dark water to work with. And now I'm getting my strokes that I want to see to start looking like wavy water. I really want that, the presence of that texture like we were talking about. So we got waves behind waves, and I want to see the colors start gradually blending toward each other too. I don't just want sudden blocks. So I'll bend this one down into here like this. Nice big wave right here. Oh, look, I did it again. I made it go the same direction. Okay. Take some of this white, get my nice deep turquoise. So with oil paints, I've learned this helpful thing, that your highlights just don't feel as bright. It's hard to get bright whites with an oil painting. And so make dark darks. That's what you want to do, is make sure that your dark colors are really dark so that you can take advantage of the oil-based paint's ability to be very vivid at those dark shades. It's, in my opinion, has better ability than the water base in the darker color range. So I'm just taking this, grabbing some of that phthalo green and making it gradually taper out. So it's not just a sudden change where the water has that, where it spikes up. I'm just looking for any spots that look like they could blend a little bit more smoothly. Like this. And just putting it on there. And I'm using that same stroke that I used with the water base. But, I don't have to worry about this paint drying. I mean, this is just like playing with dirt. I mean, it's like I'm just stirring around a wad of clay to be the shape that I want it to be. That's what painting with oil is like to me. It's like playing with Play-Doh. Okay, so now with this one, I'm going to create the overhang that happens on these waves after I get a little brighter here. Let's get this bright color, a little more here, a little more here. I want nice bright tops on these waves.
Yeah, Amanda says chaotic but calming.
Yeah, that's how I feel about these colors. That's a good description. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is create the deep water that, so remember how I did the deep water looking through it. So when I go over here, let's just grab some of this down here. I forgot, I don't need to dip into more paint. It's all right here on the canvas. Okay, I'm going to make this horizontal bar across the top of my wave. This is just the deep water from down here. And what that is, just like I said, it's where you're seeing between the top and the bottom of the curl. And you might see it in one part, but not another, because, you know, maybe here it's pointing up at the sky, so it just disappears. So we're going to put that dark part, but it's not finished. I have to put the rest of the parts in place before they all make sense, and it creates the illusion that we're after. So the next thing I'll do is grab some white. Now I don't want to grab white out of my sky because I'm afraid I'll get my really dark watercolors in. So we'll just put a blob of white right there. And we'll grab a different brush. Should I get a different brush? Probably don't need to. And I'm going to make this that pink white. I'm going to make this a little bit more purple because I want this one to look more like reflection. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good choice because this actually is in the water. Let's try it without first. That'll be there in case I need it. Okay, so the water reflects the sky. Now this reflection is happening inside of the water. That right there, that is the underside. That's the tube making a bubble. That's what it is. It's the bubble under the surface of the water that is also known as the tube. And you can see the top of that tube reflecting out from under that deep water color. So I just need to put the curve on it so that it looks like it's rolling over. See the curve that I put on that white? So just like this, and then it gets darker as it goes down because it's less reflective. So then I want to put another curve on top of that where this wave is curling over. This is the top reflection. It's actually not quite as bright as the lower reflection. So we just curl this one down. My hands are kind of shaky, so it's hard to get these angles. There. So now I've got two layers of curves going. So I got the water tumbling down right there. I feel like that needs some of the green in it, though. Let's put some of this. Let's put some of that phthalo green right in here. Chunk, chunk,
Just a
chunk.
quick note to everybody out there. We're at an hour and a half here. We're going to wrap it up soon, but we're going to take a look at some artwork that came in. Last call for artwork. Send it to info@muraljoe.com.
Yep, we have to
have
do
a look
that.
at it.
Definitely got to do that part. Okay. Now I'm going to put the white water on this. I've got the curl of the wave. So remember, I had a little bit of shadow. Look, there's a little bit of black right down here. I could probably just borrow it and go, here, let's get a little more. Where'd my black tube go? Right here. Let's get a little bit more of that black. Let's just dip right into that tube. Like that. And we'll go down here and mix it with some blue. We're going to get that shadow so that this big wave is curling over. Like this. But then I want to really blend that. Blend that into this. I don't want it to be anything extreme, you know, just a subtle thing that just suggests that there's a shadow on this wave because the water is curling over. And then right on top of that shadow is where I put my white water. So then I'll get my pure white. And that might be a hard thing. At this point, there's a lot on this canvas. So let's see if we can just do that. Let's just get that and maybe get a little bit, let's get another brush and get some of that. See that purple right there? Just go like this and really dab this to get that purple look. Put it down here. We don't want to cover up that spot there. See that nice purple I get? So let's put that right here. Put that in here. And then I'll put bright white on top of that one. Right there, there. So this is always a challenge, you know, when you get the paint so heavy with oil. It's fun to go heavy with oils because you can get all this texture, you get this cool look. But then trying to get bright white highlights on it is a challenge. So as I'm doing this, I'm experiencing that right now. You know, like, oh man, I want the bright. So that is the advantage to the water-based paint, is that it's very easy to get instant bright highlights on anything you want to see it on. Okay. Now I'm putting the white water tumbling down right there. We're going to put the dark blue inside of here. Maybe some of that green too. Put it right inside of there, just like it's tumbling over. See how that dark line creates that overhang on the wave? Like that. And then we have the bright white. We've got to find a way to get some real bright white on here. I think I might have... Oh, last brush. This is my last brush. If this one can't do the bright white, then I'm done. I'm done. I lost my chance because the white, to be real bright white, it's like you can't even get a little bit of color in it because it just instantly takes away its brightness. White water.
So here's an interesting question about the power of using black. Amanda's asking, they've heard a lot of artists say never use black.
Yeah.
Use dark colors to achieve.
Yep, I've heard that too.
Quote unquote black. How often do you liberally use black?
Every single painting. That's how true that is. Yeah. Well, you know, it's a matter of preference. It's a matter of opinion. But if you're asking my opinion, black just needs to be used. It needs to be reserved for the darkest parts of the picture. I mean, what would it be like if you said to a photographer, what if I said to you, Ben, while you're editing a photo, you need to raise the brightness so that none of the pixels are black?
Well, you know, it's funny. I was just thinking about that. Nobody cares what I have to say about this matter. But if there are any photographers or color graders in the room, there is a button in color grading called black point. You set the black point because every picture has black at some point of darkness, and you get to decide where that is.
Exactly.
So it's very valuable to set the black point.
Yeah, so you're reserving it for just the right spot. Reserve the black for the darkest areas. That's the way I think is the effective and fun way to use black, you know. Okay, so now I got my wave tumbling right here. I got it coming across like this. So the last thing I'm going to do is
Dude, you better make this look awesome because we got some awesome looking wave paintings coming in from our audience.
Dude, I can't compete with the general public. That's too much pressure.
You gotta be the best always.
I don't know if I can do that.
Get it together, man.
Okay, we're gonna go white, and we're gonna mix it with this pink color, like this. Now here's how I'm gonna do the reflection on this water, with this pink, right here. Maybe not so much pink. Let's go a little bit less. Let's get all of the white we've got left, make a big pile of it, right here. Okay, we just need enough pink to make this look like reflection. So let's go like this. Nice horizontal tapered brush strokes now. Here we go.
Hey, so is this paint going to crack up later because you put it on so thick, Michelle's wondering?
Probably. I don't know. I don't use oils super often, but I would say because I didn't thin it, it's less likely. You know, cracking is something that happens according to how much it shrinks. And oil doesn't shrink a lot if you don't add extra medium to it. So I didn't thin it at all, so I'm guessing, I'm guessing that it won't have very much problem with cracking. Dude, look how obliterated my brush is. It just looks like this big old flower. I'm painting with a flower. Okay, and so I'm just putting horizontal strokes of that reflection across here to get the surface of my water, and I'm putting it wherever I already have the dark, putting it less on my green areas because I want to see those green areas. Just put some blobs of it here and here. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can put some last little strokes on this, finish it up, and then we'll take a look at your paintings and see what's out there. I'm going to get just a little more of this purple. I like the way that looked. Like this. Yeah, just a little more of that purple. There we go. I like those reflection colors. Right there. It's funny how you try to get the nice bright colors of a white with oil. And if there's all that color on the canvas, it's a hard thing to have it happen. Now, the last thing I'll do is put black and blue to really define. Since I can't go brighter on my highlights, I'm going to go darker on my shadows. And so this is to show that I do want to see black. Definitely want to see black because I love seeing areas that create high contrast. So right in here, wherever I have the blue, this is how I'm going to make this water look deep and make this painting a lot more interesting, is not being afraid of that deep, dark color. Now I'm just painting in between where I put my reflection colors. Just putting that dark color on there. Get some dark colors here. See how that just makes it deep. So it ends up being a real frustrating experience if you do an oil painting and you try to do the whole painting in light colors. Okay, we're doing this. All right, what do you think? Shall we call it? Shall we call it a day, Ben?
Hey, man, you got a lot to do over here. We got some
Yeah.
people wanting to get your thoughts on some things. I'm going to start you out with an easy one here. And this one.
Okay, I'm ignoring you.
If you can manage to escape the watery world in which you are living now and come back to the one where you've run out of time.
Oh man, it's such a bummer. I really want to add little bits more on this. So, in conclusion, I may have put too much white on this water at the beginning. Remember when I just blasted it? But it was a fun thing to do. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to take a look at what we got. Whoa, cool. What are we looking at?
Yeah, man, this is Barry the Barracuda hanging out next to our live stream.
Nice. That is awesome. Oh, I love the big drippy look. I hope that doesn't disappear because that's a cool. Now, I'm sure you could paint other cool backgrounds too if you want.
Compliments of Marianne Brooks.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for sending that
I
in.
love the
That's
drippy
awesome.
background. That's super cool with the fish. Nice job.
And then we've got one here from Steve. And Steve is Round Brush Steve today
Yeah.
on our chat room. So,
I like how I could see our video playing in that Barracuda. I just realized, I was like, how
That was
am I
kinda
seeing a
meta,
video of us?
yeah, I got kind of confused.
Hey, nice. Look, it's just a teensy painting. Nice job. Look
Yeah,
at that.
that's Round Brush Steve, man, bringing it.
Excellent job. Look, the atmosphere colors, perfect. Sunlight colors, man, you nailed the colors in there. That's why a tiny picture can look so good. You can nail the colors. Yep, you did better on those colors than I did on my wave painting just now.
And then we got
Cool.
one here from Jacob. Check this one out from Jacob. He's got himself Mount Rainier up there in Washington, looking as glorious as ever. the northwest
Whoa, nice
sunset.
painting. Oh, that looks so big and distant. Nice job with the atmosphere on that. Yeah, your shadows really, I mean, that's a perfect example for anybody, wondering about the blue and red makes, I don't know if that's exactly how you got that color, but that is how I would do that. That's the kind of effect you get by using it. Add a little bit of blue and red to the shadow and it's boom, atmosphere just like that. Comes right together. Man, awesome job on that. And the gradient, how you get gradually less atmosphere, is very well done, very consistently. Cool.
And then
That's
we
Mount
got,
Rainier. Huh?
yeah,
gotta go
Mount
see
Rainier up there.
I gotta go see that mountain.
You do
That's
need
cool.
to go see that mountain.
Dude, I'm telling you, like we were close to it and never went there.
How close?
That's amazing. Well, we were up in like Northern Oregon, I think. I guess it's
think
not
you were
so
in Northern
close.
Oregon?
It's up in Seattle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a state away isn't so far for an awesome mountain. You're like,
Yeah.
it's in Seattle.
Well, I mean, you could see it
Yeah.
from Seattle.
Brian knows because he's flown over it. He's
Hey, check this one out.
he's
This
flown
one
airplanes.
is this one is from Dawn. Dawn is
Okay.
like she's like a wave painting pro over here.
Okay, let's see
So,
it.
I apologize for doing
No,
this to
it's
you,
no problem.
Joe.
No, it's fine. Oh, that's what you mean. Apologize for doing it. She schooled me.
Yeah,
I'm done. My career's over.
yeah. I mean, just hang it up, dude. Hang it up.
That is awesome. That is a good curl. Look at that thing, man. That is rad. Wow.
And then we got some more watery works in here as well.
You could put, it'd be awesome if you could put some color in that, the base of that curl, if you could put some color, like you could see into it just a little bit. Some brighter color would make that effect, like light was coming through. But hey, it's better than my wave. Beautiful.
Check out this one here from Joanne Garcia. She's got herself a pretty awesome wave here too.
Let's check it out. Oh, nice. That's cool. Love that big curl. Yeah, the smoothness of that big whoosh, how it goes up. I could just hear it moving.
A sweet
like
planet in the background.
Yeah. So that kind of has the
Moon.
whimsical vibe to it too because of that big curl, but the emotion, the fun that it adds to the painting is fantastic. Now that'd be cool to see something on top of that. Something should be riding on top of that big curl.
Like
a butterfly. Maybe
there
a
you go.
butterfly.
butterflies are cool. Oh,
Don't come to me
butterflies.
for great artistic ideas. I'm just like a knowledge guy,
Yeah, I
It's
can't
the
hate on that. So
information.
this one is from Eulogio Garcia.
Let's see
It's
it.
got a pretty
Whoa, dude, that is sweet. I can feel the humidity. It's making me sweat just looking at that. That looks awesome. Man, I'm looking close at it right now at the reflection on the leaves, the gray colors that you used. So this is really good. This is really noteworthy is how you get the very colorless reflection on the green leaves. You don't just do a light, bright green. By doing that colorless gray, those leaves have the glossy, shiny, reflective look by leaving out the bright green color on that reflection. And then where you have the bright green, that looks like the sun shining through the leaf. It looks like illuminated leaves. So the combo of them, you have a very dynamic, beautiful, I don't know what kind of a plantation that is. It's beautiful.
We've got another
Looks
one
awesome.
from Eulogio as well here. Eulogio. I hope I'm saying that name right. That's a
Good try, though.
beautiful name.
Good try.
Eulogio.
I just want
here's
to know
another
who
one.
painted that wiggling squirrel behind you. Nice.
Yeah, we'll talk
That's
about
cool.
that after the live stream.
Yeah. This is beautiful. Look at that. Same thing. Bright
Yeah,
greens.
same
Bright greens
artist,
make the
yeah.
leaf come to life and be illuminated. Colorless greens, like less grayer green, is great for the reflection. So the combo of the two is awesome. And same thing on the berries that are on it. Those are coffee beans, aren't they? That's a coffee tree. Nice. And so Same thing, the less colorful highlights on the berries make reflection. The more colorful highlights cause them to look like an organic illuminated material and not something that is completely opaque, you know. It looks like light kind of goes into and bounces out of everything, so there's always an amount of that bright mid-tone that you can use. Awesome, man, that is good. That looks like something that should be hanging up in a Starbucks or some local coffee shop. It'd be fancy to me. I'm sorry I said Starbucks.
Yeah.
They're the bad guys. They're the giant ones that take over.
Hang up at your favorite local coffee.
Local coffee shop. Let's go local, everybody.
Hey, here's another one from Jacob. He's wondering about his perspective. What do you think about his perspective?
Oh yeah, just wondering about the perspective about this otherwise awesome picture. Dude, nice job. I love the colors of your rocks going under the water. Nice job making the color right at that curve. You know, I've talked about that before, and your painting is a good model. Nice work. So one thing you could do to enhance that perspective, I just noticed right away that the left side of this little fall is equal height as the far side. So if you increase the height just a bit right there, then that would really help this fall to come forward and give you a lot more of a level plane kind of a look on your water, more of a horizontal surface. This area is a little bit, because it looks like the fall is it should be equal size, and but then it's not bigger where it's closer. But that's a small thing. And then you can always make more and more of the spaced out. You can space out the ripples more as they get closer, like I did. But and you could curve these. See how level this is? Level line on that. If you curve that just a bit, just a little bit, kind of like this one. This one's better. It has more curve. That creates the foreground look like you're looking down at it a little bit instead of just out. So those couple of things would make a big visual difference. It's an awesome painting. It's looking fantastic.
All right, and then we'll take it home. This last one here is from Dawn Harrell again, the wave painter extraordinaire.
Oh, we're gonna see another one, you guys.
We have a surfboard here that she's.
Whoa,
might have
nice, dude! Look at that. That is.
Done
Is this
work on
really a
that
painting?
surfboard.
Are we really looking at a painting? Let
The
me
water
look.
behind is photography. That surfboard.
Oh, okay,
paint.
okay. You're tricking me. You're tricking me with that. I was like, what? Really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I'm assuming, unless
I can't tell. I can't tell. This looks like, okay. Wait. So what I'm looking at is the artwork on the surfboard. You gotta forgive me for being a dummy. Okay. You just got this awesome back. I was looking at this whole thing.
We got a board Photoshop.
I was like, is this whole thing the painting? So that's a testament to how lifelike your waves are, because they met. I saw two things matching. I saw the waves on the board matching the waves behind. I was like, what am I looking at? That looks
there's your
awesome.
paddle border. There's your little paddle border down in there doing their thing.
I could have just pointed to you guys. We could have done this video without my artwork. We could have just looked at your artwork and pointed out.
All right. So after an hour and 45 minutes, you guys, we didn't need Joe this whole time.
You didn't need it. You're already doing it. You've already got it. You're doing better work than I am.
Didn't need it. All right, Joe, take us home.
Okay. I would love it if you would take a look at muraljoe.com. You can consider being a subscriber there. And so these videos, they'll stay free. They're free on YouTube after a time, after they kind of start losing their popularity, as all videos do these days. Well, these are meant to be valuable library items for people who are subscribed. They're going to continue to be at muraljoe.com. So we'll continue to put out these how-to videos, answer a lot of questions. And then after they've run a few days on YouTube, we'll pull them and put them on the website. That's how the future is going to go. This will be the last week that I have those videos. I'm going to remove those this week, the ones that are up. How to draw eyes, how to paint eyes. I'm going to start putting those on the website, getting that part of it built. I want to thank you all for being here. And I'm really looking forward to next Tuesday, same time. We're going to do the same thing. Tuesday, 3:30 in the afternoon. That is Arizona Mountain Time. And of course, you can get on the email list. You can see that on my website. Just sign up and I'll send a reminder email to you. That's I don't send very many emails except just to say, hey, a show's coming up, or hey, a workshop's coming up whenever we do them. So I would love it if you'd take a look at those things, and I'll see you next time.